Hi, I'm Don, and as promised, tonight we're going to Chaos, everybody's favorite. We'll be looking at the Games Workshop and the Nons Games Workshop miniatures available for Chaos that I bought back in the day. Dividing them up equally, here's the Corn, or as the elves call him, Kane miniatures. And you can see there's a wide variety of the older Games Workshop stuff here. There's some mounted knights. Coming back here, we have one of the Chaos Warriors mounted on a hippogriff. Here, I believe the Bloodthirsters, Blood Drinkers, Blood Rippers, whatever. Anyway, you can see the range of them over the years. This is the first one that came out. He's quite the cute little fella. And they go all the way up to the most recent one. And you can see he's quite large in comparison. Next up, here we have the Nurgle, all the way down from the little Nurglings, and then the Great Unclean Ones right here were the first ones that were introduced. And now they have these Great Unclean Ones here. Well, they did. Those went out of sale years ago. I think the new one is bigger than this whole little section table here. Here we have Tzintik, and you'll see the riot of color in here. I'm not even certain what these are, but you can see they have the hawk doggies and the hawk people, and they have these flying things with bony spikes. And back here, let's draw more of those. These are flamers. You can see they breathe fire. These are one of the more recent ones. And I believe we've got, where is he? The original one that came out. Flamer wise. Ah, here he is. This was your first flamer. There's no fire on him, but you can see he had the flamethrower tipped feet or hands. Back here you have the Keeper of Secrets. This is the very first one to come out. And then back here is a more recent one. I think it's out of print now too, but it's one of my favorites. And there's a whole bunch of these guys flying around, wizards on Arcane Monster back. And this is the first one of those that came out. Then here we have everybody's favorite, the Slaaneshi. That's right, the Hoochie women. And you can see back in the day, the Slaaneshi miniatures were a lot less pink and more snake-like, or even rather warlike in pose. But over the years, they, here's a Keeper of Secrets. So over the years, they got less and less distinctive and became more cartoony, in my opinion. Here you can see one of the original Demonette, I believe, Demonettes, yeah. And you can see what they look like now with the giant lobster claws. Here's the cavalry section. I think these are the hunting hounds or some such. Here are some chicks with wings. Back here is Keeper of Secrets, and up front here we have the original two Keeper of Secrets that came out. You had your choice of body and choice of head. You can see which two I picked. And here we have a Slaaneshi wizard riding on his giant wormback of some type. Here we have the Chaos Dwarves that came out. So don't let anybody ever tell you there were no Chaos Dwarves, because here's the proof. Now, over here, we have cultists. This is the first group of cultists to come out. And as you can see, they were all dressed up in red with the cloaks. A little later on, they came out with the pointed hats. Then they sort of became still red cloaks, but gas mask kind of deals on them. And then the most recent one I have, they got rid of the red cloaks altogether, and now they all just look like a bunch of Mad Max guys. As you go forward here, you can see these are a lot of Chaos miniatures, but these aren't Games Workshops until you get to the very front row. Here's I think this is a great Unclean One knockoff. I'm not sure what these guys are supposed to be. I think they're supposed to be Slaanesh knockoffs. Here's some kind of steam-driven monster. I'm not even sure what that is. I think this is a Nurgle knockoff again. Not really sure. Here we have undead guys with guns. Then when you get up here, you get to the Raupartha Chaos Warriors from back in the 70s. You even see the Death Dealer from the Frank Frazetta painting. We had him as a mounted and as a dismounted warrior. The mounted guys in the cavalry, I didn't feel like going through for him. And then up here you have some others. This one, I just really love this guy because he's got the chain glaive. Now over here, we have the Femur, which was a Games Workshop line that came out briefly. Their big thing was that they were ogres with lizard heads and a single eye. I forget what these guys are called, but you see they came with both guns and with knives or spears. And they were, of course, Games Workshop. Actually just saw those recently recreated for one of the Games Workshop games, Blackstone Fortress, I believe it was called. And miniature was much larger and more ornate, but well outside of my price range. Anyway, I'm Don. Becky's behind the camera. Everybody say thanks, Becky, for filming it all. We've finally gotten over the plague and happy to be back on the air. Hopefully next time we'll be showing you Tyranids, since that's what Games Workshop is all about these days. And I'll see you next week.